All right, a little fall update. I'm gonna start with the newest garden bed, the one that I just put in about a month ago. I put down some seeds. This is hot pepper habanero, and I put some carrots down in the back. Starting to pop up. So it'll be a bunch of carrots in the back. Habanero. I have squash, butternut squash, some society garlic. And after the habaneros is these peppers that look like habaneros that are sweet. They're called ají peppers. Squash, society garlic, squash, red Cherokee tomato, society garlic, squash, and then we got some little tomato plants that are starting. These are going to be different colored grape tomatoes. Starting a hedge of chaya and elderberry. So I have them alternating. I have elderberry, chaya, elderberry, chaya, alternating all the way down. So by this time next year, it's going to be this height. Because last year I started it the same way, right here, in this hedge. You can see it actually has some elderberries on it. And the hedge is actually growing taller than the fence. Wanted to add a little bit more privacy. Mulberry, yucca, and some chaya behind it. Got some cranberry hibiscus right there. Some more chaya. There's some sweet potato growing through here. Cranberry hibiscus. There is a raspberry that I started from seed growing back there. I have a little celoisa or amaranth. Got some papayas. Very round. Lots of sweet potato growing in there. I just pulled out some of the potatoes. There's still lots of vine slips. The other side of the elder. This is a male papaya. I wish this was smell-o-vision so you guys could smell how fantastic these flowers are. Got some blackberry, some tomatoes, banana, some more tomatoes, and this is a tomato tree. Starting to give flowers, so I'm excited. I'm gonna have some tree tomatoes. this banana tree fell last hurricane, and we're looking at getting another hurricane in like 2 more days. Look at that. But tomorrow, actually, we're going to be getting a hurricane. That's why it's windy right now. This is a bunch of catmint. Some nice flowers. With the okra right in the middle. This is longevity spinach. And there's some eggplant in the middle. It was getting eaten by something. Got a pigeon pea growing right in the middle. Gonna put off some nitrates and help feed everything. And these are bananas. And there's a dwarf pomegranate. We have our Monstera deliciosa and cucumber and loofah gourd growing together. On this side, so loofah gourd. Black peppermint. Hot chocolate. And over here, I pulled out all of my oregano that was the regular Caribbean oregano that was growing here because it was getting overgrown, and I have some red banana that I didn't want to be totally blocked out. So I'll show you what I did with the oregano. I use it as ground cover for my citrus trees. This is variegated Caribbean oregano. I'll probably do the same thing with this as it gets bigger. Right now it's at the length where I could cut it, like right in the middle. I'll cut it right here, and then just stick the top in the ground, and it'll keep going. These are turmerics, and since it is fall, they're looking like they're ready to go, because during the winter they lose all their foliage and the roots just hang out waiting for spring. We got some peppers. This is a little key lime. Some collard greens. This is a new addition. This is a ackee tree. A whole bunch of sweet potato. Pigeon pea. Bunch of elder. And then we've got chico zapote. Some sugar cane. Different types of amaranth. This one is called coxcomb. I didn't make up these names. It's a scorpion pepper growing right up against the sugar cane. I have right down here, there's a little tamarind tree growing up against the green leaf amaranth. That's huge. It's like 6 feet maybe. With some flowers, probably more like 5. But the Egyptian spinach is definitely grown to be about 6 feet, which is this one back here, these pods. Everything's growing into the papayas. And this is cinnamon basil. It's been taking off, doing really good. That's all one plant right there. Some more celoisa or green amaranth. Green leaf amaranth, not green amaranth. And this is F1 hybrid between coxcomb and amaranth. Very cool looking. Put a bunch of different celoisas and amaranths all together. And all of these are like, they're flowers and then they're seeds. So they'll just drop their seeds and I'll have a whole bunch of different amaranths growing next season. You can see it's starting to happen. That's like a little cluster right down there of seeds that started to grow. You got one there. And the bees really like the cinnamon basil. I'd love to taste the honey they make from that.
Wow.
So another newcomer, we have Jaboticoba. It'll grow little grape-like fruits right from the bark, right from the trunk. And it's way too young to start giving fruits now, but it's very healthy. So I'm happy about this. Unlike this guy, this Manny Sapote, it'll give me new leaves, and I don't know if my dog brushes against the branches and then the new leaves start dying, or if it's just some kind of cycle it's going through trying to get established, but nowhere near as happy as the Chico Sapote. Speaking of happy, we got a tree steady giving me guavas. At least every other week it'll have ripe fruit every day. Kind of loose math, but hopefully you can follow me. Very productive. That'll get about 3 times that size, maybe 4 times before it's ready. Very nice big guavas, good flavor. And I have the pineapple guava, hasn't given me any fruit. Nice and tall. And these are more ornamental bananas. These aren't as good eating as the other ones. They give tiny little bananas. This vine is Kuwano, or African horned cucumber. They also call it cucumber melon, or African cucumber melon. Cucumber saurus is another name for it. There's a lot of different names for it, but Kuwano melon, or Kuwano, is the most common name for it. This is what it looks like when it's starting to develop. That is probably like a week out from being full size, and I'll show you a full size one. There's lots of them around here, but I know where certain ones are. So this is just about full size. Got a few more here. This one. That one. And they're like little dinosaur eggs just all over the place. This is why they call it cucumber saurus. It's very productive. Not all of this is the cucumber vine or guano vine. A lot of this is wild cowpeas. So they make these bean pods with, this isn't quite dry enough to show you, but let's see what they look like when they're this color. So it makes these itty bitty beans that are edible. They're basically like a wild black eyed pea. And when they're fully dry, it'll be black with one little eye right there. So that's what most of this is. And I'm using it for chop and drop and for coverage, just to make more of a wind barrier with this fence. But they are also edible, and I've had a few of them. They're pretty good. They're yummy. They're small, but they're really nice tasting. So along this fence, other than all these vines, I have ginger. So there's like a tall pink shell ginger. I have tropical canna. This is some more ginger. I have some variegated ginger buried in here. Variegated ginger. And there's two types of variegated ginger going on over here. These are the shorter ones, and this tiny one is actually going to be a big one. It's like a 6-foot variegated ginger. These are little variegated. And then there's red canna. Canna is in the same family as both ginger and banana. They are 100% edible, all cannas. The only thing is not all of them you would want to eat. Some of them taste better than others, but you could eat the leaves, the roots. Some of them grow very large, bulbous roots that you could cook up like a potato. This here, so these are the flowers, which is why they call it red canna. These are the seeds. Another name for red canna is Indian buckshot, because you could use these seeds for buckshot pellets. They're the perfect size and they're very hard. But you could also use them to regrow it. We have avocado that popped up from the compost. These are catmint. Those just pop up on their own also around here. Along with this is Virginia peppergrass. We have some tomatoes. Tomato there, tomato here. This is another avocado that popped up from the compost. And these little berries belong to what's commonly known as a stink vine. But it's cool how productive it is. And the cardinals like to eat them. So I'll save it for cardinal food. Hopefully they won't eat my tomatoes if they got these berries. Yeah, but amongst all these vines here, I also have yam. So there's some yam growing in there. And that's yam, not sweet potato. There's a difference. That's actual yam. This is my Florida strangler fig. Doing really good. It's like an unstoppable tree right here. I have some Monstera deliciosa growing under it. So you might think I have a whole bunch of Monstera Deliciosa, but what I did is I bought a pot that had like 8 plants in it, and I just split them up. Longo. And the Longo ginger has a different taste than Sabrina Official. The Longo ginger tastes more like every other ginger. If you've ever had cinnamon basil, it has a similar flavor to that. It's like ginger and cinnamon basil mixed. The flavor of it. So yeah, that's all this. Oh, and I have like a little roof going on to this to help with the water that comes off the roof. And it's also going to be like a trellis as the vining plants start to grow. Got a yucca. It's about a year old. So another 6 months and I'll be pulling out the roots. We have this. Last year I grew tomatoes in this little section. This year I'm just gonna do basil and flowers. Got a bunch of zinnias in there, some green onion, some rosemary that I just took little branches off of my rosemary that I have on the other side, and I just stuck it in and it kept growing. So I got one on each side. And then in the front, I just pulled some weeds. So there's a leaf of life. We have a cherry. I'm not exactly sure what type of cherry because the tag just said assorted cherry. This is the citrus triangle. Right here we have key lime. This is an Australian finger lime. This here is a tangerine. And then this is all the oregano. I was telling you I was going to show you what I did with the oregano. Here it is. So I put it all here. It's going to fill it all in. It's going to be ground cover. Probably won't even see the wood chips after like only a month, because this is only like 4 days old, and you can see it's already starting to take, because the leaves would be all limp if it was still in the process of trying to take. But you can see the leaves have popped up for the most part, so that means it's already growing roots and it's already somewhat established, feeling comfortable, feeling at home. It's a citrus that was probably grown from seed. We're not sure what it's going to produce, but I have no problem waiting it out. Got a mango, olive, this is a funky palm tree called the burglar palm. Because it's needles. It's got some serious thorns on them. Huge. Now, be happy when that starts getting bigger. This is a mango. Now, these mangoes were both started from seed. That one and this one. They both started from seed from my neighbor. He has quite a mango collection. He's got like 6 different varieties. Got some elephant ear growing in there. Different kinds. This is an ebony tree, also came from my neighbor across the street. Fire spike sumac. Because when it gets colder, the leaves get red. You see a little bit right there. See how it's getting red? They all get red, and it usually gets red looking like it's on flames. That's why they call it fire spike. But they have these little berries that the Native Americans used to make a beverage with that's similar to lemonade because it's very acidic. and you mix a little honey and water with it, and it's very refreshing. This is a sugar apple. It's in the Annona family. This right here is a little Granny Smith apple. This is a big old Granny Smith apple. Started all these from seed as well, so even though I grew them from a Granny Smith seed, it's very unlikely that I'll get a Granny Smith apple because every seed has the genes for 3,000 different types of apples. So you never know what you're actually gonna get. It might not even be a traditional apple, it might be like a crab apple. We'll find out. But I have I had 12 at one point, but every time I weed whack this area, I end up getting one of my apples. So I'm down to 6, 7, I'm down to 7. And then pineapple. So I got pineapple, Granny Smith apple, sugar apple, custard apple. This is a date palm that I started from seed. There's a few of them here. And a Christmas ironwood growing with the okra. This is a gator apple or a pond apple. It's a Florida native Annona. It's the only Annona that grows wild or native to Florida. And then some malanga growing up of it. I have Montego or Jamaican cherry tree. Here in Florida, a lot of people call it a strawberry tree. It has these little fruits right there. Ripe? No, not ripe. But when they're ripe, you just barely tug on it and it pops right off. They're delicious. They taste like kind of like a mix between strawberry and cotton candy. Very yummy. And then I threw a little bit of malanga around here, so we're gonna have some popping up in the front. And I got a bunch of succulents in here. Got aloe, pineapple, different cactus. I got apple cactus. And we got spiky tuna. Some Swiss chard in every pot. And Malabar spinach. Another pineapple. Yeah, that's it.